WA4YL. Hello, Lauren. How are you? You're welcome, Lauren. You're loud and clear. You sound like you're right next door. Audio is clear as can be. No noise, no nothing. Okay, Lauren, you have a good night. It was nice chatting with you also. Always a pleasure. And I hope you can stick with us tonight and we can have fun. WA4YL, sitting by and waiting for the nap. Better than standing by and get naked feet.
Welcome, ladies, to the YL OpNet. This is Catherine, a C4YL net control for this evening's net. We meet every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Echolink ALARA conference node. Be sure to invite all YLs you know to join us. We ask that only YLs or licensed young lady ham radio operators check in and participate. The purpose of this net is to encourage you to become and stay active with amateur radio, help each other improve our operating knowledge and skills, and have fun. For more ham fun between weekly nets, check out the YL OpNet Facebook group. During the net, be sure to join us in the NFARL Do Drop In chat room by opening any web browser and going to nfarl.dodropin.org. Just put your name -- call sign in the box and click Log In. YLs who would like to check in, give us your call sign, name, and current location. And don't forget that there is a 3 to 4 second delay when transmitting through Echolink. This is Catherine, a C4YL. We will now begin taking check-ins. Please call now.
WY7YL TD, Sundance, Wyoming.
K7SKY, Sky and Gardner, Washington.
Susie NHCGM, Cincinnati, Ohio.
K7CJS, this is CJ in Gardner, Washington.
This is Whiskey 3, Lima Echo Oscar, Leah in Oklahoma.
This is Whiskey Alpha 4, Yankee Lima, Dawn in Hudson, Florida.
W5MQC, Michelle in Oklahoma.
This is KC1GNS, Ann in New Hampshire.
Todd, Massachusetts.
KC8PKY, Linda, Knox, Indiana.
Kilo Bravo 4, Rosemary, Houston, Texas.
Hello, it's Papa Uniform 7, Hotel Lima, India, Soraya from Brazil.
Okay, very good. We'll go through those check-ins that we have so far. We have Lauren, KC9ZHV, Illinois, Katie, WY7YL, Wyoming, Sky, K7SKY, joining us from Washington, Susie, and 8CGM, joining us from Ohio, CJ, K7CJS, checking in from Washington, Leah, W3LEO, checking in from Oklahoma, Dawn, WA4YL, joining us from Florida, Michelle, W5MQC, checking in from Oklahoma, and KC1GNS, joining us from New Hampshire, and there was a YL from Massachusetts. We did not catch your call sign or your name. We had a little double happen with Ann there, so if you can come back in just a moment and give us your name and call sign again, that would be awesome. Linda, KC8PKY, joining us from Indiana. Rosemarie, KB4RM, checking in from Texas. And Soraya, PU7HLI, joining us from Brazil. So good day to you, Soraya, and welcome to the net this evening. We're glad to have you with us. So we'll go ahead and see if we have some other YLs here with us. So if you haven't checked in already and would like to do so, please call now.
W1MKW, Gretchen, in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
November Echo Zero Delta, Bravo Rita, Colorado.
Alpha Echo 7, Mike Bravo, Margaret, Battleground, Washington.
Kilo Alpha 1 United Lima November, Nisi, Andover, Massachusetts.
Ansu RJ, Rhea in Warners, New Jersey.
Echo Zero Delta, Bravo Rita, Colorado.
Yukiko in Tokyo, Japan, 7K for TKB.
Alpha Golf 4 Yankee Lima, Melanie, Marietta, Georgia.
Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Hotel Uniform, Carol in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Hello, this is Carol, K4SIF.
Okay, very good. Let's go back through who we have here. We have Gretchen, W1MKW. Gretchen, I thought that might have been you coming in through the NF4GA repeater. So good evening, checking in from Cape Cod, Massachusetts this evening. Hope you're having a good time up there. Rita, NE0DB in Colorado. Rita, we got you in the log. Your mic gain is way up, like really, really distorting your audio. So you may want to check your audio gain settings on your mic there. But we do have you checked in the log. Margaret, AE7MB, joining us from Washington. Nisi, K1ULN, joining us from Massachusetts. Ria, N2RJ, joining us from New Jersey. Yukiko, 7K4TKB. Good day to you, Yukiko. It's wonderful to hear you joining us from Tokyo, Japan today. Melanie, AG4YL, checking in from Georgia. Good evening. Carol, VA3WHU, checking in from Canada. Got you in the log. And Carol, K4SAS, checking in from Kentucky this evening. So what a great group. If you have not checked in yet, we'll ask for that in about another 45 minutes. So don't give up if you would like to check in then. We'll ask for that. Or if you want to join in on the conversation on the net, we'll go ahead and put you in the log then. So whichever works out best for you. We have a great group here with us this evening, and it's wonderful to hear everybody. Lots of things going on, and so what I thought we'd talk a little bit about tonight in the wake of Hurricane Harvey going on, and all the things going on there in Texas and the folks affected by that. Would like to check in with Rosemarie. And Rosemarie, how are you doing? And you know, what's going on down there for you? And you know, it's great to hear you this evening. But if you can just tell us how you're doing, and we'd love to hear from you. We've been glad to see you the last week or two as well. But we'd love to hear from you and make sure you're doing okay there. So KB4RM, if you could come back and give us just a brief update on what's going on and how you're doing over there. KB4RM, AC4YL in the net. I'm not hearing anything from Rosemarie yet. Perhaps she had to step away. But we'll try one more time here. Rosemarie, if you're near your tablet or computer or however you're connecting here with us this evening, we'd love to hear how you're doing with everything going on down your way. We'd like to know that you're doing okay. If you've got a second and are able to give us a quick update. KB4RM, AC4YL in the net.
KB4RM, yes, sorry, I had to step away. I tried to be on the phone, but I couldn't get connected there, so I'm by the computer now. Okay, yeah, I understand. Everybody has been asking me, and everybody is concerned. But I can tell you all, I live on the 7th floor in an apartment building, and no water came off the 7th floor. Also, I'm living in an area that did not get flooded. I'm fairly close to downtown Houston. I'm southwest of it. And I have been in my apartment since Friday, and it rained to Tuesday afternoon when it stopped and the sun came out, and sunny yesterday and sunny today and 90 degrees. So it's over with the rain, but it's not over with the flooding. And I have only seen what you see on TV, because obviously I haven't been out to drive around and look, as there is no flooding in this area where I am, and I only see one direction from my apartment, and everything here was just fine. The street outside had a little bit flooding on Saturday, but after that, no. It pretty much went away. But stores were closed. I think the mail started up today, but they haven't gotten any mail since Friday, so they don't have anything to deliver. And the stores were closed 1 or 2 days. They open up half a day. I was in the store for the first time yesterday since Thursday, and of course there is no bread, no meat, no fish, no vegetables. There isn't much. It's dry goods, and but I think that they are hopefully getting to restock, because all the freeways were closed. They were underwater, sections of them. So now they can drive, and the airport has been closed as of today. Today they're flying in and flying out some planes, but not full. And I'm leaving Tuesday for Sweden and have a little worried. And I understand that the flight are going to take, will not fly today, tomorrow, or Saturday, possible Sunday. So I'm hoping that will let me on Tuesday. So that's a little bit. So it's devastating. I can't believe it myself, looking at all these 30,000 people in shelter and homeless. I thought I saw someplace 100,000 homes are destroyed, and people are trying to go back where the water has left, and pulling out walls and floors and everything in their homes, but they can't live there. So I'm just fine. So back to you there, and thank you for asking.
Well, we're very, very glad that you're safe there, Rosemary, and it sounds like you have the essentials that you need as well. So that's good. I'm sure all the gals here are relieved to know that you are fine. And that you're safe, and all is well there for you and your family there. So best of luck getting on that plane to Sweden. I know you love to go back home there, and that's wonderful. And I hope that all works out for you as well. And please stay safe, and we wish you safe travels on your trip as well. I know there have been quite a few posts on Facebook regarding a lot going on with the hurricanes, and perhaps some of you that are active on Facebook have seen some shared news reports, and there was one quite well done by one, and I think either Michelle or Leah shared it. I think it was might have been Michelle. Just shared this post, and it was a really good video on amateur radio and its role in aiding folks in an event of an emergency situation. So, Michelle, I know you've got some family down that way, and how's everybody doing? And do they have what they need for your family there? And anything else that you'd like to talk about with reference to that or amateur radio efforts down that way that you may have heard yourself firsthand? I'd like to check in with you if that's okay. W5MQC, AC4YL in the net.
W5MQC. Yeah, most of my family lives down there. I have my niece and her husband, her 3-year-old, live in Dickinson, and they may have the only house in Dickinson that did not get water in it. But they have pigs and chickens and all kinds of farm animals, so they really couldn't evacuate with them all. So my niece went to my brother's house, which isn't far away in Clear Lake, and they were lucky in that their house is a little bit higher and didn't flood either, but there was no getting anywhere around at all unless you were in a boat. My My brother's daughter, who lives in Dickinson, they had to stay armed because there was a lot of looting that had started there. My mom and two of my sisters live in Conroe, and of course we all know that got really close to my mom's house up there. They had to release a lot of water there, and it got close, but it didn't hit them. So we are truly blessed in that even though it came so close to everybody in my family, nobody got water in their homes. So that's a blessing. My sister does a lot of animal rescue down there, and that has been ongoing since the get-go on this, and so all of the family is very involved in animal rescue and have just been working like crazy to save dogs, cats, cows, everything, you name it. They are out there trying to rescue them. So right now that's where it's all at. I praise God that they are all safe, and they may not have everything they need and they may be stuck home, but they are safe, and that is a blessing. I will turn it back to you, W5MQC.
Okay, very good, Michelle. Well, we're glad that your family is hanging in there and is safe and in the wake of all this. So that's good, and we're glad to hear that. And of course, if there's anything that we can do, please let us know. We're happy to help if we can. So. It's good to hear that, and yeah, and you talk about the animal rescues and folks helping out. There's been a lot of video postings on Facebook in reference to that, and even horses as well. So it's nice to see so many people coming together to help other people. It's a shame that you have to hear the other end of that spectrum, but it's nice to focus on folks coming together and helping each other when needed, and amateur radio has certainly played a role in that. There's also was shared on Facebook, was just been a wonderful tool and aid in keeping communication up. Unfortunately, some non-accurate information, but for the most part, some good information, such as frequencies to avoid during the event, so that we could keep those emergency frequencies open. That was shared, and the video on amateur radio and their role in helping in emergency situations and after emergency situations was also a very good video. And who knows, we may see a surge of folks interested in getting their license. So be on the lookout for that, and you'll probably see more folks that are interested in studying and getting their license for that, with a special interest in Aries, Races, and Skywarn, etc. So with that, I'd like to open it up to the group and see if anybody has, I know Dawn has anybody participated in any event, post tropical storm or hurricane or anything, helped in those efforts, and would like to share their experience. Please call now.
Well, good evening to the group. This is Sharita, November Echo Zero Delta Bravo. I hope you can hear me. I do have an announcement. If you can all hear me, I'm going to say over for now and let me know if you can hear, and then I'll repeat it.
About 2 sessions, and it was so sad to see all the elderly people that were at the shelter, because it was a special needs shelter, and we had high winds and flooding, but nothing came of it. Was just a tropical storm, and we braced ourselves for a hurricane. Back to net control. WA4YL.
Okay, well, I caught what Rita said, and then I caught about part of what you said there, Dawn. I caught from the part where you were talking about it being a special needs shelter, but didn't catch anything that you said before that. So, Dawn, if you could come back and, if you don't mind repeating what you said prior to that part, we'd love to hear about that. And I know you helped out in at a shelter with, after a tropical storm event. So if you could come back and just recap again for us, so we'd like to hear about your experience there, Dawn, and then we'll circle back around to Rita.
This is WA4YL. Sorry, I don't know what you're Rita. I don't remember exactly what year it is offhand. Tropical Storm Isaac was slated to become a hurricane. It never really truly did. It just stayed a tropical storm. We had lots of flooding, and I was assigned to a special needs shelter right here in my hometown of Hudson, so I didn't really have to travel far. But I'd rather, after I experienced that, I said to myself, I'd rather shelter in place as long as I can, because some of the shelters can be a very austere and empty experience, and it's not like being at home. You sleep on army cots, which are made of canvas, so I would shelter in place or stay at a hotel. WA4YL, back to that control.
Okay there, Dawn. Thank you very much for coming back and relaying that experience again with the group here. And I'm sure that they appreciated your efforts in assisting with that at that time. And it's another way that we can get involved in amateur radio, and sometimes that isn't always easy, but a necessary aid for folks, especially when there's no other communication available at the time, and certainly a great help in search and rescue efforts. I know we've had a net a while back where we discussed this topic. We talked more about post-Hurricane Katrina, and Yukiko was kind enough to come in and tell us about the efforts that were put forth in Japan after the tsunami that hit a few years back. So, it's an important role that we as amateur radio operators can take on and assist in those kinds of situations. Before I forget, let's go back to Rita. Rita, we'll go back to you now. I think you said you had an announcement for the group, so let's pass it back on over to you. NE0DB, AC4YL, and the net. Well, Rita, we're not copying anything. I don't see you keying up either, so I don't know if you're trying to use a key on your keyboard to key up, but if that doesn't work, you can always click on the top left on the lightning bolt there, and then go ahead and transmit, and then click on that same lightning bolt button again to stop transmitting. So let's try this again there, Rita, NE0DB, AC4YL in the net.
I'm just not working.
They can't hear you?
They can hear me key up.
Okay.
What's this?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was afraid of that.
Yep. So. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so that's on live. Yeah, the 0 just brought me in a weather forecast here, but I was talking about Amanda. So, does anyone copy that? I'll go back to that.
Okay, Rita, let's do a quick check real quick. Your audio is really, really high on your gain. If you're in Echolink right now, if you can click on Tools up at the top and go on down to Adjust Sound Device. If you hover over that, it'll open up two options, Playback and Recording. So Tools, Adjust Sound Device, Playback and Recording. Click on the Recording option there, and that should pull up your microphone, any microphones that you have connected. So, and if you're not sure which one it's defaulting to, it'll have a little check mark next to it. If you click the one that has the check mark next to it and then click on Properties, there is a tab that says Levels. If you have microphone boost turned on, you want to turn that down. And if your microphone level is way up toward the top of the bar there, you want to drag that down as well. The quickest way at the moment, and I'm agreeing with several folks here that are chatting in the Echolink chat, you may also be too close to your mic. It was actually, your audio was clear when you were talking to your OM, which I'm going to guess you were facing away from your mic at the time. So again, if you go to Tools, Adjust Sound Device, Recording, didn't want to time out there, and that'll pull up your sound options, and then you have the Recording tab will default open. Choose your microphone that has the check mark next to it and click on Properties. Now this of course is Windows 7. I don't know what operating system you're running. It might be different. Third tab over is Levels. You can adjust your microphone level and your microphone boost option. Just crank those down. And then you can also try backing off the mic a bit. Get the mic away from your mouth a little bit. That may also help. So Rita, if you want to try that and come back, we'll give you just a minute here. NE0DB, AC4YL in the net.
Okay, I just adjusted all of those and I pushed the microphone way back. So do you copy me now? Over. I'm guessing that didn't work either.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, you have to unkey before anybody can transmit, so gotcha. Yes, it is better. It's still hot, so still quite hot. So if you have the boost turned up, bring that down and crank the level down a little bit more. But yes, that did sound better, so you're moving in the right direction. So if you'd like to try one more time, Rita, please go ahead, and then if you don't mind, repeating your announcement for the group, because I didn't quite catch that. So NE0DB, AC4YL in the net. Well, Rita, I heard you key up a couple of times and then unkey. So if you want to try again, please go ahead. We're here to try and help you get through this mic issue if we can. So please go ahead and try again. NE0DB AC4YL in the net.
Looks like I'm still alive. This lightning thing is really, I don't know when to push it and when to stop it. So, haha, I see that. Better. Oh, it's better, okay. NE0DB.
Ah, there you go. Okay, your audio is getting much better. You could come down even just a tad bit more if you're able to. So when you click on that lightning bolt, you'll see the button change a little bit. When you click on it to transmit, you'll see it kind of get a more lighter grayish background, and it looks like the button is pressed in. Another way you can tell is when you hit that lightning bolt, depending on the view you have set up. If you're using Explorer view, the bottom left of your Echolink screen will show TX in a red box, and you'll see this meter move as you are transmitting, and when you start talking, you'll really see this blue bar move. So basically you click on it once to start transmitting, and it will stay depressed for you to transmit until you click it again. So basically you click the lightning bolt, say what you need to say, and then click the lightning bolt again to stop transmitting. And if you're not sure, just look at for the TX in the red box, and that tells you you are transmitting. Okay, so Rita, if you'd like to come back and go ahead and give us your announcement again. Your audio is much better, and we're able to actually copy what you're saying better. So please come back, Rita. You're getting through it. We'll work through this together here. NE0DB AC4YL in the net. Okay, Rita, so what you could do at this point is I'm going to unkey and stop transmitting, and you'll hear the repeater come back with its courtesy tone. And once that happens, you can click on the lightning bolt, go ahead and talk to us, and then click that lightning bolt again. Go ahead and try again there, Rita.
Okay, this is Rita again. I just don't want to take up all of your time trying to teach me this, but I assume I'm transmitting. It is flashing blue and yellow at the bottom. The lightning bolt is yellow. So someone is saying, working, yeah, yes, awesome. So I guess I'm transmitting. So someone says, I believe you have it. Yep, you go, girl. Okay. So I'm going to click the lightning bolt and go back to the net for the present time. Over.
All right, Rita, I do believe you're getting the hang of this. Okay, cool. So what I would suggest for you to do after the net is once you disconnect from ALARA, I want you to go up and click on Station, and I'm sorry, click on Station, and then fourth one down is Connect to Test Server. I want you to connect to the test server when you get a chance. Anytime you have some free time. And what the test server does is it basically repeats back to you whatever you transmit. It's a great way for you to practice your transmitting, because what will happen is if you hear it key up, when it plays back, you'll hear it key up, and if you don't hear you say anything, that means you keyed up and you didn't realize you keyed up and anything. But also, when you actually get the hang of it, like you just did, of clicking that lightning bolt and then talking and then clicking it again to stop, it will repeat back to you whatever you say, exactly the way it sounds to other people on Echolink when you connect to their station or a repeater or this ALARA conference. That will help you adjust your audio settings and get those set, and you'll actually hear how you sound to everybody, and then you can make adjustments and transmit again and make sure it's improving or is it worse. And then if you need any help along the way, chat with the gals in the YL-OpNet Facebook group. Put a little post a message out there and say, hey, anybody got a minute to help me out with some Echolink troubleshooting? I'm sure if anybody is available to do that, I'm sure they will be happy to do so. Thanks everybody for your patience while we assist Rita in working through Echolink. And again, Rita, that's what this net's about, to help each other really pick this up and get going and learn how to operate using different tools available to us and become better amateur radio operators. So that's what we're here to do. So thanks, Rita. And if you don't mind putting your announcement in the chat so we pick it up, that would be great. Okay, we've had a couple other YLs join us. We had Sarah, AB7PS, pop in here. So hello there, Sarah. We're glad to have you here with us as well. And somebody else joined. Ann, WB1ARU has joined us. Jenny, N0HZT has joined us. So wow, we're just rocking it. Lauren has to leave us, so we'll say 33 to KC9ZHV. It's great to have you with us, and I believe you are still letting the broadcast run. So awesome. We should have a recording of the net. So we should be good there. Okay, very good. Let's go back for a moment to our topic and see if anybody else had any experience working or assisting after an emergency situation or catastrophic event or any of those kinds of situations. If you had any experience doing ARIES or RACIES, and assisting in those, even if it was a drill. If you'd like to share your experience with the group, we'd love to kind of get a feel for what it's like to be involved in a situation like that, either live and real or a demonstration such as the Aries SET, the simulated emergency test. So if you'd like to share with the group, please call now. Well, Rhea, I saw you key up, but I didn't hear you say anything. So, Rhea, if you have something to chat with the group, please go ahead. N2RJ, AC4YL on the net.
This is W3LEO, just hanging out here at dinner. I got a new phone today, so it's the only most exciting thing for me this week. Of course, we're getting our roof done next week. From all the years of Oklahoma weather, it finally beat it up enough to where it needs to be replaced. So, yay for that. But I'm just preparing for a club meeting this weekend, and also preparing for Veterans Day Parade coming up in November. So that's kind of just what I'm looking at right now. So that's all for now. W3LEO, back to Net Control.
Okay, very good, Leah. Well, it's great to hear you. I hope y'all are having a good dinner out there. And yeah, if you're going to do the Veterans Day Parade, I don't know if you mentioned you were going, but I'm not sure if you were going to help out on the amateur radio side of things. And if so, we certainly look forward to hearing how that goes in November. So great to hear you. Glad you're doing well, and hear the fam in the background there. So thank you. I think Rhea is going to try to figure out what's going on with her audio there. In the meantime, I think Linda also had a comment. So KC8PKY, if you have a comment, please come on back.
Okay, this is KC8PKY. Yeah, actually I've done a couple of drills. When I lived in Detroit, we were close to a nuclear power plant, so we had to do drills every couple of years. I always participated in those, and actually we had an incident where we had a tornado go through and it nicked a couple of spots on the power plant. So about 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning our phone rang, and took us a couple of times to figure out this was no drill. They wanted us at the yeah, the Fermi plant in Monroe. Yep, that was the one. And they wanted us at where I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Got my tongue wrapped around my eye too, can't see what I'm saying. But anyway, it was pretty good. Nothing happened, we were safe, but nothing like getting woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And with that, I'll turn it back to Net Control as soon as it lets me out.
All right, very good, Linda. Well, thanks for telling us about that. We appreciate it. So, see, you never know. Could get a call at 5 in the morning. So, hey, it's why it's volunteer service, right? But you guys were at the ready, so that's wonderful. And so glad nothing crazy happened with that. But it's always good to be on the safe side and check. So, wonderful. Thank you, Linda, for sharing that with the group. Okay, let's go to Rhea. I think she's back, and then we'll go to CJ. So, Rhea, please go ahead into our AC4YL on the net.
Well, hopefully this is working now. I tried my computer, and it just didn't work out properly for me. Something with these multiple audio devices I have with the Flex Radio. Some guy might have gotten mixed up. Anyway, as far as disasters go. So before I became a ham, I was always told about how, let me slow down a bit. Before I became a ham, I was always told about how hams would assist in disasters. Now, anybody that knows me know I'm from the Caribbean in Trinidad and Tobago, and we have our fair share of hurricanes. And there have been a few that really, you know, would have a devastating effect. Like there was a big one in Jamaica called Gilbert, and the guys made a song about it. You know, and it was just really terrible. I'm sorry to, you know, you have to inject a little humor sometime, but the guy was complaining how Gilbert came and took away his roof. And there were lots of storms. So anyway, one of the first ones I saw when I was learning about this stuff was Tropical Storm Brett. I think it was in 1990 or 1991. And I listened in on shortwave radio, and they were basically passing traffic back and forth because the wind knocked down the telephone poles. Pause for reset. Okay, and we had a number of different emergencies, from small ones to big ones. We had where one of the water reservoirs failed. I think one of the big pumping stations failed, so they had to have trucks distribute water down to various stations in the island where people could go with buckets and get them. And they had ham radio operators to go and relay back the condition of the tanks and how much water was left and how many people were there, and those types of, that is an emergency public service event. Now, we also had a very close relationship with the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, where we would be also given access to special frequency 148.800 outside the ham band, and we would talk directly with serve agencies and stuff. So in other countries, they rely a lot heavier on ham radio than they do in the United States. In the United States, there's this aversion to ham radio mingling with first responders. But in other countries, they are often riding along with first responders. So yeah, I guess it varies regionally too. You might find in rural areas it tends to be a little more closely knit together. And of course, in New York, we had 9/11. And I took part in the disaster recovery for that with the American Red Cross and Salvation Army, with radio shelters in Manhattan at 2 different schools. And it was quite interesting. You would see rich Wall Street bankers walk into the shelter because their apartments in Battery Park were not accessible. So it was something else. And then you had medical needs you couldn't transmit over the radio. You had to try to use a landline phone, which was not working because when the Trade Center towers came down, a lot of that infrastructure for the telephones was destroyed. And we had Sandy and Irene here, which really, I didn't take part in any amateur radio for that, but there might have been here and there. Anyway, thanks for letting me ramble on about it. And to RJ, back to next.
Oh, very good, Rhea. No, it's great to hear about your experiences. Your audio's great, by the way, so I guess switching out something worked for you. Yeah, that happens a lot when you got radio hooked up. Sometimes it really messes with your audio settings. So anyway, it sounded great there, Rhea, and thanks so much for sharing your experiences with the group here. It's always good to hear from all of you ladies your various experience and knowledge and things that you've done with amateur radio and other things that we talk about too on the net from time to time. So we appreciate that. We will go to CJ in just a minute here, but we had Ann join us, KC9YL. So good evening to you, Ann. Carol K4SAF is going to step away for a Kentucky CW net shortly, and that brings up that there's another net that will be beginning shortly. So let's find out from Ann, WB1ARU. First of all, real quick, how you're doing, and I know you're probably getting ready for the YLHFnet. So if we have a frequency for that as well, please come on back and tell us. WB1ARU, AC4YL, and the net. Well, it looks like we'll be on 14286 tonight. 288's busy, so we'll look at 14286. WB1ARU.
MJCD.
Okay, very good, Ann. Thank you very much for 14.286. Appreciate that. Jenny, let's go to you real quick because I think you may want to ask Ann something, I'm going to guess, about the frequency or the net. So, Jenny, we'll go to you real quick, and then we're going to get back to CJ, who's been oh so patiently waiting. So, Jenny, please go ahead.
MZAZTJ to the group. I tell myself, I know we can assist in disasters, but I tell myself very lucky that we don't have actual disasters here in the UK. So please, you all, please take care. You are all so special. Well, we're all special. And just take care, please. Back to that control. Thanks, Kat.
Well, thank you very much for your kind words there, Jenny. I know that everyone on the net appreciates it, and you're right, we are all special, all of us here on this net and our families, and it's great to be able to get together once a week and catch up with each other and talk about ham radio fun stuff and, you know, other things going on. So it's great to have some time to visit with each other. So thank you, Jenny. We appreciate that. Let's go on over to CJ. K7CJS, please go ahead with all that stuff you've been just dying to share, that you've been oh so patient with us. Hopefully you didn't forget it by now. Please go ahead, CJ.
K7CJS, thanks. What I wanted to say was, you know, I mentioned last Thursday that Sky and I had done a active shooter drill last Thursday, and a lot of it came together when this Harvey thing started, because what our primary role was as Aries in the active shooter drill, because we had local sheriff, police, state police, we had the police with blanks shooting up at the junior college. I was at the hospital emergency where people were coming in, the active shooter came in. Literally, these people were coming in, they had the makeup on for the stuff. And what I realized was, what our role was is to keep track of people. So I was at the hospital. We were supposed to keep track of who was there, and if they left, where did they go? And then there were people, Aries people at the reunification center where they took them from the college down, and the Aries guys there were keeping track of people. So basically, that's what we did. Keep track of where all these people are. And when I see this Harvey thing going down, I can see how important that is to all the other family members, where they can't track down where's their family, where's their relatives, because they're in Ohio and they don't know where they are in Houston. And so the nice thing is, Aries up here took the lead role in just keeping track of people. And so I think that was a really important thing, and it was a great drill. We made a lot of mistakes, so we're going to be doing it again after it gets worked out. But, you know, I encourage anybody to help with that kind of thing. You know, we weren't anywhere near the shooter, but we just tracked where are people so they could be found. So, anyhow, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, CJ. It's great to hear you, and thank you for sharing those expressions with the group here. And you're absolutely right. Even keeping track of people is important. Helping families locate family members or just know that they're okay is another way that amateur radio operators are helpful. Even when you're not necessarily involved in an event per se on site there. I had a friend of mine who was telling us about one of her neighbors who's an amateur radio operator, and they had family in Alaska back in the 1964 earthquake that occurred there, and the amateur radio operator was able to help some friends there know that their relatives in Alaska were okay, and find out from other hams that were in that area where they lived. So it's all the efforts count, and are certainly of great value. And I really like the point you're bringing out there, Linda, too, in the chat. The purpose of the drills is to hone your skills and understand how the process works, so that in the event of a live event, it's like second nature to you on what's expected and what you should do. So if you haven't participated in a drill, and I have not either personally, so it's one of those things that I've found somewhat interesting, at least with the annual, well, I think there's 2 sets, but I know there is one that takes place, I believe, every October. If I have that correct, I could be way off, but I don't know why October stands out to me, but it does. And so I know that we have an Aries group that's tied to the North Fulton Amateur Radio League, as North Fulton Aries group, and they're very involved, and they like to get together and participate in the set every year, and have done that at various locations throughout the North Fulton area. So it's encourage you, like CJ, to participate and explore, at least explore that, and see if it's of interest to you. Let me reset. And Linda brings out the point, it's okay to make mistakes during the drill, and that's exactly right. It's how you learn, and again, hone those skills and get better at it and more efficient at it. It's kind of like learning CW. You have to practice every day. If you can't practice a little bit, it doesn't take we're not talking about hours, but you practice a little bit every day, and you'll get better and more efficient, and get better and more efficient. Okay, any other experiences with either an emergency drill or a live event, or after a live event?
WA4YL.
Please go ahead, Dawn.
Thank you, Catherine. Field Day, 2012. We experienced Tropical Storm Debbie. First, it was a drill. Then it became the real thing. And my amateur radio club was in a field, and they just cleared out, as it was the last day of Field Day. They had just cleared the area, took down all the equipment. They were on their way back to the clubhouse when a tornado touched down right where our communications trailer was just sitting. So we were lucky in that respect, because the tree came down and would have landed on several of us and the trailer. And I was driving in the storm, and I was warning people that tornadoes were heading down certain streets and to avoid those streets. When I got home, I activated Sky 1 net and diverted traffic away from where the tornadoes touched down, coming down certain roads and highways. So that was my very first experience with a disaster and a storm.
Well, that's great, Dawn. Thank you so much for sharing that with the group. And you know, it's very fortunate that you guys got out of there just in time, but, you know, great job with that, and, you know, your enthusiasm, it just, we can definitely hear it in your voice there, and being able to help folks through that, and you know, Skywarn Nets is another way, and you know, just I think you showed a great example by helping divert folks away from roads that were impacted. We had a similar situation here in Georgia when we had the ice come through and basically shut down the southeast for about two to 3 days here. You know, folks were spending 14 plus hours in their car, some making it home, most not, and there were several folks on the repeaters there to help. And I can say from experience, from being on the other end, of being in the car for 8.5 to 9 hours, just to go 8 miles down the road, you know, it was comforting to me to have that somewhat of a distraction there, you know, with the radio, and just listening to amateur radio operators helping other hams and their families get home safely, and helping them with areas to know that, you know, unfortunately you're just not going anywhere. But, you know, just to know that that communication is still there and you're not, you know, on your own, that in of itself can be a great relief and a great help to make it through difficult situations at whatever level that might be. So thank you, Dawn. Appreciate that. Any other comments on this topic, please call now.
KC8PKY.
Please go ahead, Linda.
Okay. Actually, just a couple of quick comments. One important thing to always remember when these kind of situations happen is don't self-deploy. Wait until you're asked to come. I can give you examples, but I won't bore everybody with a couple of examples that happened in Detroit. And also, if there are opportunities for training, take them. The one thing we had good races, people ahead of our races, that any kind of training that came up was offered to the whole group, not just to the leaders. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Net Control.
Okay, very good, Linda. Well, thank you for that. Those two key pieces of information is very good. Yes, there are some also some CERT training you can take as well, which is encouraged. And I don't recall, I don't think there's a fee for them, but I could be wrong on that. I'd have to go back through, because again, we did a net covering a lot of this before, and we had some links to some of the training that you can take. So thank you very much, Linda, and you're absolutely right. You don't want to take it upon yourself to put together that effort, because there's already a system in place for that. Okay, very good. Any other comments on the topic? Please call now. Okay, very good. Well, thanks everybody for your participation in this topic this evening. Really do appreciate it. We have some folks on that we've missed for a while, and I don't see Yukiko in my list anymore, but then there's so many of us here, she may have dropped down past where everybody is that I can see in here. So Yukiko, if you're still here with us, if you don't mind and you have just a minute, would love for you to come in and just tell us how you're doing and what you've been up to, and anything else that you'd like to share with the group here. 7K4TKB, AC4YL in the net.
Hi everybody, this is Yukiko, 7K for TKB in Tokyo, Japan. It's been a while. I've been working as a volunteer guide for the museum in Yokohama near Tokyo on Friday, so I had to skip this net. I'm very sorry. But today I have to go to the conference center in Tokyo for preparing for the Tokyo Ham Fair, which will be held from tomorrow, 2 days, this weekend in Tokyo. And this is the largest ham fair in Japan, and it's an annual thing. So many people will be there. And my club, JLS, Japan Ladies Radio Society, will have a booth. So I have to help them put up all the ornaments and flags and so on like that. And also, I'd like to make an announcement that starting from tomorrow, which is the 2nd of September 00 UTC, the All Asian DX contest, the phone only, will be held, and which is sponsored by Japan Amateur Radio League, and it's a 48-hour event, and I usually participate in this contest, but this year I have to help the ham fair event. But I will be on the air as much as possible. I'm expecting a lot of eyeball QSO at the ham fair. Okay, back to the net control. This is 7K for TKB. Over.
Well, that's great, Yukiko. It's so wonderful to hear you today and have you with us and catch up with you. And if you're able to, we'd love to see some pictures from the ham fair. So if you get a chance to take a few of the YLs there, we'd love to see some pictures. If you gals have a setup there, a booth set up. If you could share those on the YL OpNet Facebook group, if you do get a minute, we would love to see those and virtually meet the YLs there. We would love to see that. So glad you're doing well, Yukiko, and staying busy. That's great, and you sound like you're doing quite well. So again, thanks so much for coming in. We certainly miss you when you're not here, but we're always glad, and it's always a treat to have you join us. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us and visit. Great to hear you. Let's see how Anne's doing. KC9YL. Anne, how's your CW stuff going? I know I think you're getting ready to kick up level 2 or 3 or what? Where are you now with CW, and how's that experience been for you thus far? And would you recommend it for any of the other gals on the net here that might be interested in learning CW? KC9YL, if you got a minute. AC4YL on the net.
All right, yes, I do have a minute, and I would absolutely highly recommend it. And even if you're even possibly thinking about maybe wanting to do it in the future, I would sign up now, because it took me, I think, 3 months to get into the first class. I had tried, I think it must probably about October last year, and it actually might have been closer to the first of the year. And I got in the March and April class, and then the first night of that class of CW Ops 1, our teacher said sign up for CW Ops 2 right away. So I did that, and I was able to get into the class that's actually starting this coming Monday. So we'll be meeting Mondays and Thursdays on Skype for 8 weeks. The teacher has already given us homework, and it's just amazing how having the class, and I think the peer pressure of your classmates, really makes a difference and just really makes you dedicated to practicing. For the CW Ops 1 class, I practiced an hour every single day, and boy, when I skipped a couple of days when we went on a family vacation, it really made a difference. Let me reset. try that again. The class is free and it's fun, and the teachers are just so supportive and complimentary and patient, and it's a joy to see them be able to enjoy teaching so much. And I had talked to our teacher one time last year. We were just chatting, and he said it's just so rewarding for them to see the progress in us. We had 5 that originally signed up for the class. There were only 2 of it that eventually did finish, and we've actually been meeting up to twice a week all summer long, just practicing a little bit back and forth on our own. And just, I can't wait to meet him. We're going to have a ham radio outlet super fast the end of September, and I'm actually going to be able to meet him. He is from my state, so I'm also looking forward to that. And just it's just a blast. It's so much fun and exercises my brain, which certainly is another good thing. So I don't have enough guts to get on the air yet, but part of the homework of CW Ops 2 is actually going to be making some contacts in CUSO Party and then in the CWTs. So that's kind of challenging and daunting, but we're looking forward to it. Back to net, this is KC9YL.
All right, well, very good, Ann. Thanks so much. It's great to hear that you're having a blast with that, and you know, it's this wonderful thing. Learning CW is a lot of fun, and you know, I'm looking at hopefully at some point participating in the CW Ops program when some of the other, you know, personal life stuff calms down a little bit. A little bit hectic at the moment, but very good. You know, something that was fun, and you may have already done this, but back when I was doing a little bit of CW with our local group here, they had oh, what do they call it? My brain's not working. A special interest group, SIG, for CW, and Jim W4QO, who's headed that up for a few years now, was you know, headed that up and put together a program. In fact, he has a blog, w4qo.blogspot.com, kind of like NECK1ULN.blogspot.com. But Jim put together a blog on learning CW and how his program works, and you know, it's kind of one you can do at home as well. But it was a lot of fun because I got to participate in that for a bit and had a good time. And Lori, K4UPI, who's been on this net before and helped me get it up and going in the very, very beginning, you know, she also was participating, and her OM were participating in the CW SIG at the time. And so she and I actually did a sked. We lived so close together we could actually, you know, get on 20 meters, I believe it was, and we were close enough where we could really hear each other quite well. So we did a little CW practice that way on the air, and at the same time we were connected on Echolink on our computers. So we could talk both ways, and had a lot of fun just doing a little practice QSO, and that might help get you kind of warmed up and a little more comfortable doing some practice QSOs with some folks in your class. Or for that matter, anybody else that you know that is well-versed in CW, because they'll give you a bit of a challenge, right? Well, it's great to hear you, Ann. Thanks so much for being here with us this evening. Alita has also joined us, WA7AL, so good evening to you, Alita. It's great to see you here. And Carol, KP4MD, I see you out there as well. It's a pleasure to have you here with us this evening also. Okay, let's see. Let's open it up to the group. We have just a few more minutes here. So does anybody else have any comments or questions on anything ham radio related that you want to ask the group or tell the group? Announcements, anything. We'll open it up to the group here. Please call now.
Whiskey Alpha 7 Alpha Lima.
Please go ahead, Alita.
Okay, I got myself into a situation, so I need to see if you guys can maybe help me so that I don't look like an idiot. We're having a kind of like a volunteer with ham radios this weekend, and we're going to have to dress a certain type of way because we're supposed to look inconspicuous, but also in such a way that the officers and the FBI and the Secret Service will know who we are without making us look like, you know, a problem kind of thing because of the way we dressed. So the thing is I've been instructed to wear a white shirt and black pants. I was just wondering if there's anything else that you ladies might be able to give me some tips on how to handle myself with this kind of duty.
Okay, very good, Alita. So, anybody have a suggestion or two for Alita?
KC8PKY.
Please go ahead, Linda.
Do it. Okay. I don't know if they have told you anything else, Alita. I'm assuming you're going to be using your handhelds. You could actually probably, I have a thing with mine they call a stealth thing. It's an earpiece and a small microphone that's not so obvious. It's not like the big headset that goes on your head and the big boom mic that you have. I don't know if you have anything like that. That might help. I hope it's helpful. I hope they give you a bit more information. And with that, I'll turn it back.
Thank you, that was very helpful, and yes, I do have one of those, so I will most likely be using that. I think that would be easier since I'm being there as transportation and emergency communications during a symphony out in the middle of nowhere. So other than that, I appreciate everyone and their information, and hopefully I won't mess up too bad. WA7AL, back to net.
Okay, very good, Alita, and thanks, Linda, for coming back to her question. Appreciate that, and good tip there. Okay, anybody else have anything for the group? Please call now. Okay, well, let's not get too chatty here. I think everybody's getting winding down for the evening, or getting ready to, or for the folks on the West Coast, probably getting ready for some dinner. So let's see. Yukiko mentioned the Asian DX contest. Let me see if I can get a link for that real quick for you gals. Give me just a second here to do that. Almost, here we are. All Asian DX contest phone. Here we go. Let me just copy this over here in the chat for you gals. Okay. So hopefully that will be of some help for you ladies. The bands are 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. And as Yukiko mentioned, it's phone only on this contest. There's a high power and low power. So high power is anything greater than 100 watts. So if you're running anything less than that, you're low power. You can work stations once per band. So if Yukiko is on 40 and you work her on 40 and then she changes to 20 and you hear her on 20, you can work her on both bands there. The exchange is RS plus 2-digit age. So that's the exchange there. And there we go. Oh, here we go. Let me get the link to the rules as well. I gave you gals the wrong link there. I gave you the web to Cabrillo. Let me correct that here. There we go. Okay, that's the correct link. The JARL.org link is the correct one of the contest rules, and it is the All Asian DX Contest phone. 0000 Zulu September 2nd to 2400 Zulu September 3rd.
This is KE8HSI. I'm Zoe and I'm in New Ham. I just got my ticket the other day.
Okay, very cool. Let me make sure I have this. I got Kilo Echo 8, Hotel Sierra India, KE8HSI, I believe. Is that call correct? Okay, I think that was yes. I believe this is Zoe, I believe. Congratulations on getting your license. That is exciting. So big congratulations to you, and so glad to hear you here on the net with us. And again, this net meets every Thursday right here on the ALARA conference, and thank you to the folks that link in. Well, folks, we are out of time. We've reached that. It's hard to believe that time went by so quickly, but I want to be sure and thank everybody. Please don't forget to visit our WILE.net Facebook group, and we'd also like to take a moment to thank Lauren KC9ZHV for recording the net and making it available to us on the YouTube channel. And if you need access to the WILE.net Facebook group or the YouTube channel, you can pull up my page on QRZ.com and put my call sign in the search box, AC4YL, and I have the link to both of those right there at the top of the page, as well as the net information. Please feel free to share that with all YLs you know. Keep in mind the WILE.net Facebook group is for YLs only, and there's just a couple questions that we ask you when you request to join. And basically, as long as you're a licensed female amateur radio operator, you are more than welcome to join the group. We'd also like to thank ALARA for the use of this Echolink conference node, the North Fulton Amateur Radio League for their drop-in chat room, and all linked and listening for your ongoing support of this net. Let's do one last check for any YLs who have not checked in and would like to do so. Please call now. Okay, not hearing anyone, so the nets, and thank you everybody. 33 ladies, and we will see you all next week. This is Catherine, AC4YL, closing out the YL.net and returning the ALARA conference node to normal use. 33 ladies, we'll see y'all next week.